Hello everyone and welcome back to another video provided by SVSU's online tutoring. My name is Joel and today we'll be continuing on with Chapter 8 and we'll be talking about Section 8.5 Applications of Quadratic Equations. And what this section deals with is just a bunch of different examples from investments, finance, rate problems, and a height problem involving a rocket. So this section will be cut up into different parts that deal with those examples. And so we'll start the series of videos with an investment problem, and this deals with a car dealer who buys a fleet of cars from a car rental agency for a total of $150,000. But he regains this investment by selling all but 5 of the cars at an average profit of $2,500 each. So we want to know how many cars has the dealer sold and what is the average price per car. And so to go about solving this, what we want to do is that we want to set up our quadratic equation in this type of fashion here. So we want to know what the selling price per car is, and that will be equal to the cost per car plus the profit per car. Okay. And so what I've done here is that I've labeled out what our variables are. So we have the number of cars sold, which is x, the number of cars bought, which is x plus 5, because remember he sold all but 5. And then the selling price per car is the his investment divided by the amount of cars sold, and then the cost per car is that investment divided by the number of cars bought. And then right here is the profit. Okay, so we want to use these three values here, right? Because we have the you could consider this the selling price of the car, okay, and then this was the cost per car, okay, and then right here is the profit. So all we have to do is just substitute those 3 values into our equation, and we have this guy right here. And so really what this section deals with is just setting up your equation, because really the math at this point should be fairly simple. This is really a test of your conceptual understanding of quadratic equations. So what we want to do is we want to get rid of these denominators here, and to do that we have to multiply each side by x, and we have to multiply each side by x plus 5. Let me just redo that instead of making it look like some star. Go back to my pen now. Multiply each side by x plus 5. And so when we do that, the x's here cancel, and both of these are being distributed. And we want to remember that when we distribute the x plus 5 to our first term here, those actually cancel. So we end up with 150k times x plus 5 is equal to 150k times x, and then we have our 2500 times x plus 5. And from here we just want to begin distributing still, so that way we can set up our quadratic equation. So your final result should look like, or well, your second to last step should end up looking like this. Equal to 0, and then we divide each term by 2500, and we get x squared plus 5x minus 300. And this is actually factorable, and the factors for it are x plus, I have it written down here, 20 times x minus 15 equal to 0. And so we take each of these solutions and set them equal to 0 to find our x values. And we find that x is equal to negative 20 and x is equal to 15. So since we want to know the number of cars sold, obviously we can't have a negative amount of cars sold, so we reject this negative value here. And so we've found what the amount of cars the dealer sold, but we still have to find the average price of the car. So what we do here is that we just take the selling price per car and plug in our x value. And then we find that the selling price per car was $10,000 per car. Okay, that deals with part 1 of our series of videos for 8.5. In the next one we will talk about some geometry problem, or dimensions of a picture, and then an interest rate problem. Okay, see you next time.